Many wonder what's Jeff Bezos' secret to success. Some say it's his shiny bald head. Some say it's becoming the first jacked billionaire. Sorry, Hormozy. But there's something else. You want to know the secret sauce to turn Amazon into the most valuable brand in the whole world? Check this out. It wasn't merely his godlike understanding of consumer needs or maximizing revenue or even getting better shareholder value, whatever that is. No, Bezos is great at one thing. He's great at tapping into a fundamental aspect of human psychology. Yeah, Bezos is a great psychologist. And you know what that aspect is? We get complacent. You know that little voice whispering, "Oh, I'll do better next time. Oh, my dear, you know what? Next time might never come. Many times, there's no next time. You never know when the last time will be." So this is where Jeff Bezos' game-changing philosophy comes in, and it is the day one mentality. Everyone that starts working for Amazon gets his memo on the day one mentality. And what the day one mentality is, you might be thinking. Well, you remember when you started your first day at a new job or your first day at school? You know, that enthusiasm, that curiosity you felt. It's about that hunger, that drive, that focus on better customer outcomes, on learning, on getting to know new people. You have to keep it regardless of how expansive your empire becomes or how successful you become, because every day should be day one. You should be always trying to learn, trying to get better at your craft, trying to get new skills, trying to meet new people. Because if you don't, you get to day two. And what is day two according to Jeff? That's the decline. That's when you get complacent. You stop upgrading yourself. You stop getting better at your craft. You stop learning. You stop acquiring skills. And then you start declining. Because in nature, nothing's stagnant. If you think about the water cycle, the water accumulates in the form of clouds, then it becomes rain. The rain flows to the rivers flow to the ocean, and then the cycle starts again because you're either going up to become a cloud or you're flowing towards the ocean. So day two is decline followed by death. That's why it's always day one. Amazon, even though it became colossal, one of the greatest companies ever, one of the biggest, largest in any aspect you can think of, they still thrive on this ethos of curiosity, of agility, of experimentation, because for them, every day is day one. Today, we're going to uncover a game-changing framework to innovative corporate DNA, the transformative power of resilience, the art of bouncing back, and in the end, we're going to talk about why failure, contrary to popular belief, is actually a catalyst for growth. So let's dive in. I like to think of DNA as a cookbook. Every chromosome is like a page of the cookbook with recipes. So in the case of DNA, chromosomes hold the information on how to make proteins, and the proteins become our muscles, become our bones. Everything that's part of our body comes from the information that's in our DNA. I like to make a parallel with companies and living organisms because every company is like a newborn. It inherits the DNA from its parents, or in the case of companies, from its founders. At the end of each recipe, or at the end of each chromosome, there are protective structures that are called telomeres. Telomeres are like the ending of the page. They're the protection, the buffer between one page and the next. So they safeguard DNA from degradation. And there's a correlation between the length of the telomeres and the potential lifespan of an organism. So this is how it relates to business, because you might be asking, what the hell are you talking about, man? How does this relate to business? Young companies, much like young organisms, are primed for rapid growth. They have to grow because they're suddenly thrown into an environment that's hostile to them. They must grow so they don't depend on their parents or their family or their community to defend them. They are more prone to taking risks because they have little to lose. They're unafraid. That's the opposite of what happens with large companies. When a company becomes too large, starts looking for ways to keep the small guys out. They don't try to innovate anymore because innovating too much might disrupt their own market. Since they're the market leaders, why the hell would they want to do that? They become cautious. They don't want to challenge the established order. Some of you guys might remember Kodak. Kodak used to be a giant, a behemoth of photography, of film, everything related to the image industry. But nowadays, Kodak is pretty much dead. What happened? Well, did you know that back in 1973, a young engineer named Steve Sasson invented the first digital camera concept? Who did he work for? Kodak. And you know what his bosses told him? Ditch it. Let's put it. Here's where it belongs. The digital camera. We don't want anything to do with that. We don't want to disrupt our own market. That's what they told him. And Kodak, back in 1973, had the first concept of the digital camera, but they never used it. In 2007, they let their digital camera patent expire. And by then, the world had changed too much. Kodak was already facing too many challenges because they lost the opportunity to become the disruptors of their own market when they had the chance. In the end of the 1990s, beginning of the 2000s, the world of photography had completely changed with digital cameras, with new incumbents like Sony, Fujifilm, or even Canon starting to invest a lot in digital cameras, and the popularization of digital cameras in the paper and chemistry photo market started to decline. After smartphones became a thing and everyone started taking pictures with their cameras, Kodak was dead. They went bankrupt in 2012. So back to Steve Sasson, the inventor of the digital camera, the guy that had his awesome project thrown away because he was creating problems inside the company. Did you know he actually said that they let him do his own thing and create his little side projects inside the company because he was disrupting the order and trying to do new things and thinking of new ways to do stuff. So they just put him in a room and said, you know what? Play with your toys, create whatever you want, just shut up. And you know what Steve Sasson said on failure when he was inducted to the National Inventors Hall of Fame? He said, and I quote, "You paint this picture of ultimate success, but inventors spend most of their time failing. We know way more about why things don't work than why they do. That's where we spend most of our time. Because a real inventor, he tries, he fails, he tries again, he fails again, he tries another time, he tries 1,000 times, 10,000, 1,000,000 times, but every time he fails, he learns something. He learns one way that stuff don't work. Or maybe something happens that he didn't even think about before, and that apparently small failure can become another invention down the line. The day one mentality is a rejuvenating force in companies. It's like the telomeres in our DNA. Day one mentality is a crucial component of keeping a company innovative. By maintaining a laser focus at the core of the problem and not becoming overly attached to existing solutions, companies can remain client-centric. They can foster a culture of innovation and adaptability. And did you know that failure can be a catalyst for growth? Yeah, Albert Einstein himself said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." If you want to go where no one has ever gone, you need to do the things that no one has ever done. You need to be willing to take risks. You need to be willing to do things that no one's willing to. Because if you always stay in your comfort zone, you'll miss out on discovering what doesn't work. And that's half the battle. Great endeavors, every great thing requires innovation. And to innovate, you must dare to be different. Yeah, I said it. Dare to be different. Like in the 80s ads from Apple, you need to be different. You can't be like everyone else. You can't be an NPC and expect to get main character results. So you should dare to fail, because high tolerance for failure is a secret weapon. The NPCs, they can't fail. They never fail. They never push boundaries. They never say something that another person might not like. They're not willing to try something new, so they never fail. They stay in their comfort zone, and their comfort zone is this big. But if you want to be a winner, you have to do things no one's willing to do. You have to do things that challenge you, things that you're afraid of doing. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's learning a new language. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's talking to your parents who you haven't talked to in 7 years because you think everything in your life is a result of their actions when you were a kid. Thank God it's not my case. And you know what the average person is absolutely terrified of doing? And that's what keeps them an NPC? Feeling judged. They think they will be judged if they fail. But you know what? Who cares if you don't get it right the first time? Every stumble is a step forward. Do you remember when you were a small kid? A toddler? When you were learning to walk? Probably not. But did you give up after you fell for the first or the second or the 100th time? No. You wanted to walk. You were willing to do whatever it took. So you tried and you tried and you tried and you got 1% better here or there. And then you tried again. And one day you started walking. You did the same thing with talk. You could barely mumble. You could only cry. But then you started saying Papa and Mama. And then you started saying hungry. And then when you know it, you're saying a lot of stuff. Many things that you regret having said, but no judgment. You know what they are. Let's get back. Remember Rocky, the film? He has something very interesting to say about failure. He says, let me tell you something. You already know the world ain't sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, nobody's gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And Sylvester Stallone, the guy who wrote Rocky and the guy who played Rocky and Rambo, he has a very interesting life story. Did you know that Sylvester Stallone had the chance to sell the Rocky script and have someone else act as Rocky, but he didn't? It took him years to get the chance to actually be Rocky on the screen because he put it in his mind that he was going to be a movie star and a director and a screenwriter. And he even had to sell his dog one day because he didn't have enough money to cover his expenses. So Sylvester Stallone was a very hard-headed guy. And after countless tries, he ended up succeeding. He became Rocky, he became famous, became rich, and he even bought his dog back. Yeah. And back to business, that's why they say you have to fail fast and fail often. It's not about how many times you fail, but about how quickly you back up. The faster you iterate, the closer you get to finding what truly works. That's the agile philosophy. That's Scrum. That's everything that technology companies do. They try to do stuff, see what's good, see what's bad, try again, get feedback, try again. And eventually you end up finding product market fit. You would never get there if you wanted to get it perfect the first time. You have to try, get feedback, try again, get feedback. And one day you'll have a great product. But it won't be the first time. Probably. Like Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I found 10,000 ways that don't work. And getting some inspiration from literature, Stephen King says that to write is human, to edit is divine. So you can't try to edit while you're doing something. You first need to write the draft and then you edit. So now a reflection on your personal failures and the lessons you've learned. When was the last time you actually took a risk? If you're waiting for the perfect moment, remember, the time is now. Every day is a fresh start. Every moment is a new chance to create a better future. So failure, it's not about the fall. It's about the rise. It's about getting up again. Because occasional setbacks won't define you. A year from now, no one will remember your mistakes from today. So why do you care? And if you think a bit, if you zoom out a little, if you remember that we're just smart monkeys living on a rock in the middle of nowhere in the universe, how small are your problems in perspective. No one cares if you fail or not. You shouldn't care. If you want to do it, just do it. Pull a Nike, man. And much is said about resilience. And you know what resilience actually is? The art of bouncing back. It's not about being able to take any punch that comes your way. It's about getting knocked down and getting up again, like in Rocky. It's about how swiftly you can recover from a setback and muster the strength to get up and try again. Because it doesn't matter how tough you are. You can be the strongest guy in the world. There will come a day when life delivers a blow that's so strong that you get the wind blown out of you. And in this moment, the ability to bounce back from the ropes and get back in the ring and fight back with all your will and all your might, that's what truly counts. It's not about being a strong ass guy and being able to take a strong punch. It's about when your life's on the line, when everything's on the line, you're getting back up and going back to the fight. There's a saying from Robert Jordan in the book The Fires of Heaven that says, "The oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived." And what does that mean? Well, before you start trying to be more resilient, you have to internalize this. Your defeats don't define you any more than your victories do. Do you still remember the past when you played for your JV football team or when you made out with that cheerleader? And you still tell people about those stories of the good old days when you were young and stupid? Well, I really hope not, because come on, grow up, get a life. You need to accept that life is more a marathon than a sprint. You're just as good as your last piece of work. So people won't judge you for your failures from the past, but they also won't judge you from your victories years ago. You have to live in the moment and just keep trying and doing. You have to accept that life is a series of seasons, and each season of life offers new opportunities to try, to fail, to learn, to succeed. A true loser isn't someone who's faced defeat. You might have been defeated once or 1,000 times, but that doesn't matter. A loser is someone who throws in the towel. The guy lost 10,000 times, but he still tries. He has the heart of a champion. Winning is just a matter of time. And what about resilience in business? Well, business is an infinite game. It doesn't stop. The objective of business is to keep playing another day. It's not that. It's not being eaten up by a larger company or not having to close up shop. As long as there are problems to solve and customers willing to pay for the solutions, the game continues. Being open to experimentation and learning from real-world feedback is absolutely necessary. Don't shy away from your mistakes. As my mentor Alex Ramosi says, the more reps you have under the bar, the better equipped you become. Or, as Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. So guys, if you're liking this video, please follow me on my newsletter, Rockin' Road to Success, where you'll get weekly updates with insights, business, self-development, and some crazy stories about my life and music. I'll leave a link in the description and on the first comment. You guys can sign up. I hope you like it. Also, I have ChatGPT and productivity course that's still free on Gumroad if you guys want to check it out. And to wrap up, I know there were a lot of things that we talked about on this video. Let's get some key takeaways so you guys can go back and innovate the hell out of your side hustles when you get back. 3 keys. The world may fixate on outcomes, but the journey to get there is filled with invaluable lessons and inevitable setbacks. Don't be scared of having a setback. Everyone has them, and the key is to just move on. Just move on and keep fighting. Or like Dory said, keep swimming. Every day is a new chance to start over. Every moment is a chance to pivot and redefine your path. Don't be afraid of taking chances. Every moment you have another chance. Try again to be better. So just do it. Finally, resilience is not about enduring. It's about how swiftly you can bounce back and get ready to face your next challenge head on. If you like this message, if this video resonated with you, please share with some friends who could benefit from this perspective on life, on business, on not being afraid to try and fail, and not being afraid to innovate. Because here at the Rock and Roll to Success, I want the innovators, I want the go-getters, I want the guys with crazy ideas that are willing to try and apply them and learn and iterate and fail. So please share with your friend that's kind of crazy. Share with your friend who you know has a lot of potential, but she doesn't believe in herself. But you know that deep down, she's a very competent and very badass girl. Thank you for joining me at the Rock and Roll to Success. Appreciate your comments, appreciate your feedback. And let's do this. Let's go innovate. Just go, go, go.